Hey everybody. So today's video we're gonna be talking about line center and why is it a good tool and good to actually understand how that works, because there's a lot you can do with it, but you just have to have an understanding how it works. So the job that I received, it looks just like this. So pretty much a whole bunch of these lines had to be engraved. And doing a bunch of lines, it's not a problem, but he does 36 lines. So we're talking about 36 different units, unless you can do these lines within one unit. And this is what I'm gonna show you how to do. So the diameter, it's 3.5. So we're starting at 175, so half of that. And then we have a diameter 1.25. So this is 1.5, so from the center, and 1.25 from the center. So they already give us just a half the diameter, and plus they have to be spaced 20 degrees, so 18 of the longer ones and 18 of the shorter ones. Also there's a little bit difference how this line goes to the center of the circle. So the circle is actually on a minus, I forgot, minus or a plus 1 degree starting. And this is a part, it's already finished. And the tools that I'm using two tools. I tried the ball end mill 1/32, but I broke 3 of them before I was actually done with the first part. So my second choice was carbide center drill, which are really good for engraving as well. So this is number 1, which I use for finish, and over there is number 2, which is a little bit bigger, and I use a SLR for it. Now let me show you a program. So this was backed it up. This was my first side, so it's all blacked out. This is my second op, line center. And where the line center is, let's create a new program. So you have point, line, and face. When you do point, you see a line center is the first option, then you have a line right, line left, and so on. Okay, here, restore, let's erase this. Okay, so how's this work? So line center, XC, so it's a face. We're removing 12,000, that's how deep we go. 12,000 on the radius, so on OD, it doesn't matter, you can put a 0 on there. Rough 8, finish leaving 4,008 and start and end is open. Now, what's that saying? So you have open and close. So you're telling her that open is here, so there's no material at the end, at the start, and there's no material at the end. Now my issue was when I was running from 3.5 to 2 and 2.5, when it was an open, it would come down here and then it would go another 170,000 lower, okay, and then it would come out. When I switched to line close, she would actually jump out 170,000 from the bottom. Okay, so how to fix that is you pretty much you do a line center, you go to your dimension. Okay, if you only have like 2-3 units, you have to do dimension, then you go back about 10,000 or whatever you want higher, and then she retracts back the way she was going, and then she's gonna come out, and that's gonna fix your issue. Now when it comes to the line center, it doesn't matter what tool you have. She's only calculating the center of the tool. So let's say if you have a 1/2 inch end mill, you have to compensate for 250,000 that she's gonna be taking all around, because that so she only cares for the center. So even that I do have center drills in my tool data, it says it's an end mill. Okay, for rougher, I put a 30,000. I called it a C, so I know it's a center drill. and for the finish I put at 0.60. Sorry, this is a rougher, so it's the number 2, it's bigger, 0.60C and 0.30C, but they're still described as an end mill because she did not want to, some of the options are not available for center drill, so you have to call it an end mill. But it doesn't matter what it is, because like I said, she only reads the center of the end mill. Give you an example. Let me see if I can kind of. No. So let's say this is your stock. Okay, and you're trying to, let's say, do a flat over here. So you can, let's say the flat is 2 inches wide. Okay, so, and we're starting from 1 inch. So you'd have to start her from 1 inch, let's say, come down here. If it's let's say from here to here it's 2 inches, you'd have to tell her to stop at 1.75 because at 1.75 and with the 1/2 inch end mill, she would already be here, then come down here and then go back. So if this would be a 0, you'd go back only to 0.25 because, you know, with the other side of the end mill, she would be already at a 0. So you have to compensate for everything. If you're on the line left or line right, she does it for you. But same thing is, you know, when it comes to jobs like that, you know, you can only come down straight and then come out, and you don't have to go back, let's say, or try to open it, or the machine's not trying to compensate for width of the end mill or anything. So literally, you know, she'll do whatever you tell her to do. So how the program looks. Okay, so let's go back. So we have that line circle, you know, open, so that's what it is. I picked the end mill edge, so 60,000, so that's going to be that big center. 30,000 for the finish, that's a small center. Approach, that's a question mark, so she calculates how she goes in, so you can go with the feet or with the rapid. So I went with the feet. So nice thing about it, about this, when she comes down, she'll start above the part, feeds in, and then starts to come down. Okay, and then how deep we go. So the total depth we go 12,000, so it's going 8,000 with the rougher, leaving 4,000 for the finish, and then your speeds and your feeds, so we already know that. Now here's the important thing. So first line, it's going to be a counterclockwise shift. Okay, so shift Z, how deep we go 12,000, right? What's the diameter? So normally the diameter for this will be 1.5, okay, which is actually it's 1.5, so it's 3.5, so it will be 1.75. We're going a little bit higher, so, and I'll now explain that in a second. And then I and J 0, 0, and over here to program edit, it's gonna numbers of repeat for shape. Okay, so we did 18 because we have 18 those longer lines and 18 shorter ones. And now we're doing first line. So first line is we're starting at 1.8. Okay, so a little bit above here, this drawing. Okay, and now we're telling her to come down to 1.265, and like you see it's 1.25. And why is it 65? So so I tell her to stop a little bit earlier, because remember that center drill, that tip, it has about like 30,000 diameter. So I'm telling her to stop half in the center, because if I would go to exactly 1.25, that diameter will be already lower, because like I said, because the diameter of the tool itself. And I'm telling her, so we have that line, so 1 point, and everything else over here it's empty except that 18 in a CNR. Okay, so we're going to 1.8, then we're dropping to 1.265. We are going back to 1.8. Okay, and then we're telling her to stay at 1.8 and shift on a C 20 degrees. Okay, So 20 degrees is because there was let me see, because it tells you the big one from 1 to 1 is 20. Okay, so essentially what she does is she starts a little bit above, she comes down here, okay, she goes back same way she came in, goes a little bit higher. And the reason we're going higher, because when she's switching, she doesn't switch on the radius, she switches on kind of on a flat line. Okay, so we do not want to hit that top. So let's say if you would use a 1/2 inch end mill, you would have to come out even 250, like even 300,000 higher. So she, you know, when she's switching over here, she doesn't hit that top and remove some of your you know, OD material. And like I said, and she's inside the material non-stop, so she's not coming out. So like I said, she's coming out here, coming down here. She goes, and this is where that first this is where the unit is over. Now she's telling the machine, repeat that 18 times. Okay, so she flips this flips the jaws and repeats 18 times. 1 and then 2 and then 3 till she's done. After 18 times she's done. So usually when you have your so this, that's what this is counterclockwise shift that line, and then at the end you have to add repeat end, so to go back. Okay, to go back 18 times. Now the shorter one, it's going to be exactly the same thing, 12,000 deep, except instead of now we're going to 1.515, 18 times and all. Okay, so I'm gonna shift to 0. Let's see, by 0.030,000. Okay, increment from the 0, coolant stop, memory, single. So we have that center line. So we do have a rougher and finish. Okay, so let's see how she does it. Okay, coolant off. The part was already out, so she's gonna probably start in a different spot. Comes above a little bit. Now she goes to the next. She jumps to 20 degrees over, and she's starting the same thing again. And it doesn't matter. You can do a counterclockwise. You can do a clockwise. All it's gonna do is it's gonna shift the other way. And shift again. So this is like I said, this is a really good option. You can do the repeat end with the stab. I did a sprocket before. You can do it with line latch, and like I said, you do one line, and pretty much, and you're off. So let's stop, home. Yeah. So not much to it. And like I said, always first, like on this one, I had about 80,000 stock. So what I did was I barely skim cut it. I did my first try. Like I said, I've measured. I saw that I went too deep, about 15,000. So I backed it up a little bit. And yeah, and on my second try, I already knew everything, what I have to do. Everything was adjusted. And and this is how you do your line center. So like I said, you can do lines, you can do pockets, you can do pretty much a lot of cool stuff with this, because like I said, she will follow whatever you do. So you just add lines, and like I said, for the repeat end, that and shift, you can implement in a lot of things. This is the second or third time I've done this. That's why I figured this is going to be a good material for a video. Okay, hopefully you guys get something out of it. Thank you.